Nigerians are seeking answers to the many problems confronting the nation, from insecurity to economic challenges, electricity, failure and problems in the education sector. We continue our engagement with some of the presidential candidates in the race for 2023. One of them tonight is the retired Major Hamza Al-Mustapha, a former Chief Security Officer, CSO, to lead head of state and military dictator General Abacha. Major Al-Mustapha clinched the Action Alliance AA presidential ticket for the 2023 general elections. Al-Mustapha scored 506 votes to beat his only opponent, Chief Samson Odupiton, who polled 216 votes at the party's primaries in Abuja. 4 aspirants began the contest, but 2 of them, Mr. Tunde Kelani and Chief Osakwe Johnson, stepped down for Al-Mustapha shortly before the election, which was conducted using option A for formula. Recently, Mr. Mustapha stunned Nigerians when he said if elected president, he would relocate to Sambisa Forest as part of the measure to end terrorism in the country within 6 months. Let's now hear from Major Al-Mustapha, who is joining us live. The retired Major Al-Mustapha, a former Chief Security Officer, to late Head of State General Sani Abacha, and the presidential candidate of the AA. Thank you so much, Mr. Al-Mustapha, for joining us tonight.
It's my pleasure.
Good to see you
so much.
It's been a long time.
Indeed.
This is your second time of wanting to become president. I know that your former principal, General Abacha, also wanted to become a civilian president, because remember the very popular advert at the time, who does a cap fit? And there are a lot of Nigerian youths there who went onto the street to say they're marching for Abacha. But let's come to your ambition. You've been in the villa helping your former boss, but now you've been wanting to become president. This is your second attempt to be wanting to be Nigeria's president. But why?
First of all, I thank you for the opportunity bringing me to the fore. Since the convention and since I became the candidate of Action Alliance, I think this is my first television outing. So I thank you for the invitation and the opportunity. And now, before I answer my own question, let me treat that of the former president. I think because the man is dead, there is no need for propaganda to continue to be upon him. This is honesty approach to that. I don't think he has ever told anybody he had any intention of running. That aside, my own, I decided this time around to answer to the calls of many Nigerians, elders and younger ones, from north to the south, and numerous associations with whom I worked with, to accept the call and to contest. And when it came barely towards the end of the closing time. So we sat down and then looked at all the parties and look at the party that shares common interests, common understanding, and our own manifesto, personal, and that of the party. So we realized Action Alliance has what we require. So we joined Action Alliance, and here we are so far, doing our underground work. Since the convention came and went, we collectively are working hard from across Nigeria. We have not come to the fore deliberately, but working under the table, which to me is more scientific than the razzmatazz before the official kickstart time, which is the 20th of September.
Interesting. I mean, you've said at some point when you came out of prison that you have passion for Nigeria. Right. That if you have a background, somewhat could be described as coming from a family born with a silver spoon. Some people would describe you as such, that it wasn't about money that took you to the military in the first place, that you have passion for. Is it the same passion that you have that is driving you to wanting to become Nigeria's president?
In fact, much more. My background speaks for itself, and I'm happy you have said so I need not to repeat it. I came, and then I had the opportunity of serving in numerous sensitive places since I got my commission as a soldier. And since then, I have done what you cannot appreciate at a glance for the opportunities and the services we rendered. But our records in the military speaks for itself for anybody to see. It's a public document. Now, the fashion we have for this country is much more in the sense that the challenges we saw yesterday and the deep appreciation of where Nigeria is today, it is for those who truly care. And it is that sense of care and that commitment driven by energy of patriotism that brought us to the fore to join politics. I'm not here for money. Whosoever you think or you see directly or indirectly coming into politics at this point in time and talking about money, then definitely something is wrong with that person. Nigeria has come to a point, at least we have shown concern. For the last 7 years plus since I came out of prison, we have been undergoing researches in and outside Nigeria, and our findings are extremely disturbing. So what any committed Nigerian should do right now is to understand the enormity of the problems confronting Nigeria. The new world order is changing, and we are not changing. The tide is changing. We are not. The world is running with the moon. We are not. People are flowing with the wind. We are not. So time has changed and we remain stagnant. So if you also take Nigeria as an entity and look at the threat facing Nigeria alone, then you can understand the enormity of the problems. You know, they said ignorance is power. People will continue to smile and be knocking at the door of death.
Is it ignorance or knowledge that is power?
No, ignorance is also power here. What I mean by ignorance is power. Let me exemplify it by animal kingdom. A tiny little phrase. Every morning, antelope will wake up and gaze at the grass in the middle distance. But because there is the sun behind it, so the grass in the middle distance will look golden, will look dry grass. So antelope is tired of eating green grass, so it wants another variety. So in the course of galloping to meet the dry grass, it will end up in lion's den. And lion will wake up thanking God Almighty, here comes my breakfast. If the antelope had known, out of ignorance, it wouldn't have gone for that dry grass. It would have ended up thanking God with what is before it. So that's this little phrase I can give you. So sometimes ignorance is power in the negative side of it.
You are a man some people would describe as one with 9 lives. You're one with a lot of controversies. And we cannot have a conversation tonight without talking about those controversies. You work closely with later military dictator Sani Abacha.
Right.
Let me start by asking you, do you have any regret working with him, looking back?
I have no regret. Once you join the military, you should be open-minded to work anywhere. You can be posted to North Pole, you may be posted to South Pole. You can be in the worst part of the world or worst part of the country. It is experience. I have had my personal destiny, and my personal destiny took me to where I served. All I want is wherever you send me to, I will serve and you will see the distinct difference, and I will leave it there for younger generations to learn therefrom and to enhance the professionalism and to enhance the status of the service I belong to. I have done so all my career, all my life. I never conversed to be posted to anywhere. They saw me, they saw what they saw in me, and posted me to all the places I went to, including the late head of state. And I gave my life, I gave sacrifices that are indelible today in the records of the military that are there for people to see.
We'll come to that in a bit, because some people who perhaps do not like your face, because there are a lot of people who do not like your face. There are people who like your face. But then the question is,
yes,
we'll get to
in life. Yeah. If the whole world like your face, then it shows they are a compromised person. But if some like you and some do not like you, then you are floating around.
Absolutely.
So, it is
that's why
normal.
I said, yeah.
It is only normal that some like
people
you,
don't like your
some
face.
don't like you. That is a natural state.
Absolutely. So that's why we get into why some people don't like you, and perhaps you may have the opportunity to clarify and speak about those issues. I mean, one would describe, for those who were very close to you or who were near power at the time, could describe you as perhaps you look so much like a son to the former Sani Abacha, the late Sani Abacha, that you were very close to him. That in fact, I mean, it was when he was chief of army staff, you were the ADC, isn't it?
I wasn't his ADC.
You worked with him until he became the head of state.
No. I left
at
at a certain interval. I went for courses.
Yeah.
Then I went on a certain major operation that has to do with the sustenance of Nigeria, and I was opportune to have been picked to be among. We lost lives, we lost people. God decided that some of us should be back alive, and we did. We went and exemplified what we did. We lost so many people, and we came back with documents assisting Nigeria till this very moment.
All right. We'll get into some of those things that you've done, but let's talk about your closeness with General Sani Abacha. Some people would describe him as perhaps a single dead man that still enriches the nation he left behind based on the monies that have, for example, recently about 23 million US$ was linked to Abacha loot, and you are very close to him. Are you aware about some of this loot and why some of these monies were kept outside of the country?
All right. This is a sensitive question, and all I want is for you to allow me answer you.
Absolutely.
Directly.
Go ahead, please.
First of all, if you know my background, money is totally secondary, and you may be shocked at the type of person I am. If I wanted to become a rich person, there were countries that were ready to make me a very rich person, and that would have compromised my professionalism, my commitment to be who I am and who I was when I was in service. So money is secondary. I didn't join the army because of money. I'm not in politics because of money. This country requires selfless services for Nigeria to come out of where we are. And I wish and pray that we can all appreciate, written or in mental sense, the difficulties ahead of this country from the findings we have. That aside, the issue of money, ask anybody, ask the military, ask those in civil, anybody will tell you that money was secondary. I have nothing to do with money. But there was a time I gave an interview about General Abacha when sanctions were enforced on Nigeria. Stakeholders of this country were called, agreements were reached, money were given to their accounts. But my greatest surprise today is that the media has not asked any of such big personalities to say money was given to you on an agreement. What happened to it after he died? None of you has gone to do investigative journalism. I was in prison, so many propaganda, so much messages, including those upon whom the money was given to in trust for Nigerians. But today, trinkle of it are being returned. And the question one may ask, was Abacha ever in those countries where the money was taken to? Did Abacha sign any of such account? Did they have his thumbprint? Is there a day that he deposited 10 naira? There are numerous questions that every simple bank, talk less of the bigger banks, should have as a data for the person that deposited the money. So my challenge is, where is one single paper to show that he has his account? I'm not sitting in for him, he's dead. But then the length of the propaganda from the policies he took, nothing more. I know he offended people by taking positive policies to sustain Nigeria. Many people are afraid to speak the truth. On my way here even, I just saw an interview by one of his ministers who were the closest to him, giving him advices. But I saw in an interview lately, disowning the same man. Remember, we will all die. We will all go back to God Almighty. We will answer. If General Abacha were to be alive, most of the statements and the propaganda you say were not to be. But because he's dead. But that's another thing. That's not what brought me here. What is of concern is Nigeria's future, Nigeria's sustainability, Nigeria's progress, and then for us to invest in getting our democracy deeply entrenched for our future to be prosperous for the younger ones. That's my major concern now.
So, I mean, in essence, you're saying that there are a lot of people who are involved in the transportation or the transposition of this money outside of the country, and they are still living.
I'm sure as a journalist you are aware that when sanctions were enforced in Nigeria, after Commonwealth, the then foreign minister came back with a debrief to the elders of this country from north to south. And some of the decisions that were taken was the issue of carving a means of making sure that the sanctions should not have effect on Nigeria. So money was kept with them. I gave that as an interview in 2014 myself. And there are some other people who have also spoken. But you see, because General Abacha had in the decisions he took, tough then, but it's all for the common good of Nigerians. He became an enemy to some people. Enemies at home, enemies outside. But the question I'm asking, he's dead. So I mean, hold on. Some of those people who initially sponsored, they did it to me for 15 years. They used it to torture me. To torture, I escaped to look like a human that you cannot understand. It's the will of God that I'm here talking to you normal, what I went through. But it's all false. And those who were used came to the court and testified. And most of these things that were testified that are today written in the documents of the court of law, the High Courts of Lagos, High Court of Lagos, Federal High Court, Court of Appeal today, they have all written these documents for everybody to see. But the propaganda then continued. You know, they use it. One, we were being tried in a normal court of law. Second, we were being tried on the pages of newspapers. What was written in the night is echoed by television and radio in the morning to justify our persecution. And that they did for a very long time. But torture, today, if we are talking about torture, no sane society or government or any institution can accept that. But the question is, they always run away from discussing what they did to us. The question is, who initiated it? Who came up with the writing team? And the question is, what are they afraid of?
Who are these people?
You know them. We have
no. I mean, you are here.
No.
If I knew them, I probably would have.
You have been following.
Absolutely.
No, I'm coming.
But the question is, who are these people?
You have been following all we were doing. See, I'm not the type of person that hold malice. I forgive them when I came out of prison. Something extremely difficult to do, I did. Let me give you a tiny little example. Burning you with nylon after you are deprived of food for 2-3 days and water. Then the next thing, they will flash your bread. And before you know it, they will pieces it into gutter in front of you. And you are in chains, hands, leg, and neck. Only me was that being meted to. And at the end of the day, they will lead the nylon and be dropping the blue flame on you. Soon after that, hours later, they will hang you, your head upside down, and then they will twist you. The hanging in itself is done in such a crucial manner that even if you are told to stand up and walk 5 meters away and then earn your freedom, that will not be possible. That is how horrific it was. Besides beating, besides punishing my parents, punishing my family, punishing, there's a younger brother I had who was arrested for 9 years. All this happened in Nigeria. I remember for 15 years, I'm the first son of my parents. I was only allowed to see them 2 times. We are not at war. As at that time, I was still a serving officer. What is the name of this hate? They did it. I survived it. I was told I was going to die. I survived numerous attacks, numerous orders to waste me. All failed. It's not my strength. It's by the design of God Almighty. I survived it, and I am here. So to those who did what they did.
Who are these people?
You know them. You know.
Can you say?
You know.
Because Nigerians, you are someone who is taking the first office of the land. So you might be able to come clean to Nigerians to say, these are the people and probably name names.
See, the large heart to accept punishment, to go through persecution, and that same large heart that forgives has thrown this behind us. What is my greatest concern now is what is before us in this country. Rendering services to the country, synergizing with all forces from across Nigeria and outside Nigeria to team up to make the difference. That is the fundamental issue right now. This is a priority. I have forgiven them. Yesterday is gone. My personal destiny is designed by God that I'm to go through that. Remember, in any phase of life you are, there is individual destiny, and there is collective destiny. So at every point in time, you meet people, you serve. The greatest thing here is, did you serve well? Were you loyal? Were you committed to your country? Did you leave prints that others will come and emulate therefrom? Or were you posted to a place and left it the way it was? Meaning you came and wasted people's time. Go check my records and know the type of person I am. So if there are people who hated me, it's simply because some of us believe loyalty to this country, loyalty to Nigerians is an uncompromised issue. And we came to do it. I suffered what I suffered. Look at me carefully. For the sake of the life and welfare and well-being of Nigeria and Nigerians, I'm ready to die.
All right, let's quickly, because you have a lot to touch, because you've not hit the nail on the head on 2 areas, but I'd like to move on. When you talked about the fact that... No, there are 2 areas that you have not touched on, and which is very important. They are very important. One is whether or not Abacha, whom you are very close with, is culpable.
Hold on, it's your program. You have the initiative. When you ask your question, allow me land.
I've allowed you.
No.
But I said I'm not satisfied with
okay.
2 areas.
Ask about it. Ask
now,
it.
The issue, the one is, I talked about the monies that were linked to General Sani Abacha.
Hold on.
And you said...
Hold on. The government of Abdul Salam Abubakar was the one we handed over to. I was the one that did the handing over. Every single tiny little thing, including the hooving of the room of the president, to show being detailed. That's how I handed it over. 1, to the office of the CSO. 2nd, to the president, to the head of state then that came. 3rd, you remember there was nobody in the office of General Dia. So all the contents that were left, that General Dia was the vice president. We handed it over to the vice president, all around me. You remember there were detainees also at that time. I had to protect. And so in the course of doing all this, it took me almost 2 months plus to get all things done and handed over. And I did. And I tell you this, that's why I always hit my chest. The government of Al-Salam Abubakar, the government of President Obasanjo, did not only investigate me at home. They now consulted foreign companies. They came to meet me in prison. And some of them I know are security agents from some bigger financial crime detection teams. Took my fingerprints, my eyes, went around the whole world, including Nigeria. They found the account that they were paying me salary in and nothing else. I'm transparent. I challenge the world. I challenge the governments. They establish panels, and I ask the panel, if you have ever entrusted me with an assignment that I took 1 naira, 1 kobo out of it, I'm ready to accept being guilty as having stolen the entire resources of Nigeria. Till this moment, because there is none. I'm not that type of person. Hold on. I'm not that type of person. If you're accusing General Abacha of money, that's another thing. And I told you, I gave you an answer. It's because he's dead to answer for himself. But what I know is there was not a single naira that is government owned that I took or entrusted in my care. Have I answered you?
Not quite, but we need to move.
No,
not quite.
No,
the reason is, the reason why I'm saying that your closeness, the reason why I'm asking the question is because of your closeness. And I'm saying this money linked to him, you said, is because he's dead, and some of this money, some people are involved.
I served him. Hold on. I served him. Every officer, every soldier, take oath of office, oath of commission, listen carefully, oath of allegiance. I brought this issue when Oputa panel was established in the year 2000 and 2001, and I talked about loyalty according to the dictates of the book. If it is not 100%, then there is no loyalty, and we did. You know what I did? At anywhere you put me to work, whether it was General Abacha then, whether at the time General Abdul Salam Abubakar came and you now said, this was the role you should play. If they had given it to me, the same service, the same loyalty. President Obasanjo came after him. If you had appointed me to work with General Obasanjo, the same service, the same commitment or much more. Anywhere you are taken to, the moment your loyalty becomes a bit shaky, then it's a compromised loyalty. Loyalty to the commander-in-chief is loyalty to the country. And today I can tell you that aspect of loyalty is one of the fundamental issues facing Nigeria, and extremely disturbing it is.
All right. Yeah. I have a quick one because we are 1 minute or thereabouts to break.
Right.
You're someone who has been charged with all sorts of offenses, so from drug trafficking to plot to overthrow government to murder and all sorts of things. And you're enmeshed in all of these allegations and charges. Would you say that loyalty?
Yes.
Were those are the things that have made you put you in that difficult situation?
I told you of a writing team in sustaining propaganda for 15 years on me alone. And because they wanted to do away with General Abacha. General Abacha was not to survive 3 months, and God kept him. And we came, took oath of office, and held on to that place. So to those who wanted General Abacha removed from within Nigeria and outside Nigeria, discovered that it was impossible. It was only possible if we are dead. And as soldiers, you behave like a soldier. And I don't hide my feelings. I don't hide my professional standing. If you give me the responsibility to guard this place today, nothing happens here. If it happens, remember we are dead. And that's what I exhibited. And that is what is expected. Yeah. A soldier that comes to be a compromised person is not ambassador of his family, is not ambassador of his profession, and cannot be trusted. And it's a shame to have such people who play with loyalty. I'm not that type of person. I take oath, I stand by the oath.
All right. You were trained as an intelligence officer, right?
Intelligence
officer, yeah. That's what you're trained in. Now, and you have said that there are some Nigerians who are like termites eating this nation.
Yes,
who are these people, and what do you mean?
This is a topic for another day. I said so from facts given to me and known to me from the services we rendered. And you know, I've been in this service for a very long time.
Who are these people?
And out of commitment and concern and care for the welfare of this country, I made this pronouncement.
And who are these people?
No, this is not the forum. Not
are they
yet.
Highly placed people?
Not met people from across Nigeria. When you are talking about the life of a country, a tiny little carpenter may be, a tiny little technician at point A might be, rich man B might be. So this is another thing entirely.
What is their plan? What is their plan of eating up this country? Like
this is, you know, if you as a Nigerian sit and look at Nigeria and look at the number of years from independence to date, and look at the records of Nigeria and seek and take a glance at development in Nigeria, you know something is wrong, correct? Correct?
Yeah.
Something is very wrong. Those things that are wrong are what I'm pointing at. And God willing, some of us are in this business to be able to look at it and correct it legally, morally, and then democratically.
So some people are benefiting from corrupting this nation.
I think you know much more better than me. You have run numerous programs that has to do with these causes and these subjects.
So what would you do about corruption?
And numerous approaches concurrently that will go. And the structure in itself, to some of us, we found it faulty. We found it to be ineffective and then too small to contain the wide front of the corrupt persons in Nigeria. You do it legally, systematically, to be accepted by international law, and you condone it with ease.
Are these former military people?
Numerous who are corrupt persons.
I'm asking those highly placed people you refer to that are eating this nation like termites. If you take the
census of this country in knowing the correct persons, the record speaks for itself. So we are looking at a time when we come with civility and legally, morally and democratically, to have this wider front of containing it. Identification of corrupt persons, persons doing damage to the system, will face the law. And for and on behalf of the country, for sanity to come in. Remember, no environment that wishes to prosper, especially wanting democracy to get entrenched, that should allow an environment where institutions are completely dead and you think you can invest there from. So today, you have institutions that have failed. So whatever you do will have no meaning. And that's why, unless institutions are now revived, corrected, molded, rehabilitated, at the end of the day, you may waste your time doing nothing, because nothing will be seen as an achievement.
Anyone who wants to become Nigeria's president must have an idea of how to solve the insecurity problems. Right. Shiroro attack is one. A lot of people say one too many, the attacks that have taken the lives of many Nigerians. And I'd like to know, I mean, you have said that you will relocate to Sambisa Forest if elected president, and in fact, you will arrest the insecurity situation within 6 months.
Absolutely.
6 months. And several leaders of the country have been battling to resolve this problem. How would you do that?
See, I didn't make mention of 6 months. I didn't talk about relocating to Zambia without doing my in-depth assignment. We did a lot of researches, a lot of homework into what they do. We went to dangerous places and getting data. I know what I'm doing. And I am sitting on lots of findings that we have. And we now tested some certain people even in the system. Can you work with this? This will give you solutions. At the end of the day, the capacity, ability to comprehend, to appreciate, and to launch yourself physically into doing some of these countermeasures. That is what will bring results. So many people don't have. There are people who are not ready to commit themselves to die. There are, but they are in high places. So to us, I have seen and known the thing. I have fought before, severally. I fought, remember, I fought before. I'm not new in the field. So if you say today, and God Almighty has vested power upon you, and you go back to your room and sleep with snoring, and the next day you are busy into attending some certain lower issues But because of the lofty nature in it, you found yourself engrossed in it. In the meantime, people are dying. Then something is wrong with the person, with his psyche, with the oath of office he has taken, and between him and God Almighty. Because even in law, even in our constitution, first thing first, lives and safety and properties of the people in keeping the country intact.
Would you say that the problem?
To me, every insurgency, and this is the mistake we are making in Nigeria, once you identify insurgency, be fast in containing it. See far ahead of the people. Contain it before it now becomes a monster. If while you are containing it, when it rears its head at the beginning, the whole country will abuse you for misapplication of power, let them do it. When tomorrow comes, the same people will praising you and honor you. And that is what happened to Nigeria. When this thing started in 1999, when Boko Haram began to rear themselves in November 1st, 1999, that was the beginning. We are talking of 21 years, 7 months, or 8 months now, which is to me a capital shame in the eyes of the world. Our elders, our seniors went to fight First World War, Second World War, what all the peacekeeping, peace enforcement records we have had. So many of our seniors have fought and died. So many are still alive, our former military leaders who went and fought to sustain and to give our military name for the whole world over to recognize us. We came out doing tiny little thing at home and rubbishing all these achievements. It hurts some of us. And some of us believe we can only build on excellence and maintain and bring Nigeria back to the fore within Committee of Nations. I am committed in doing that. I'm telling you, whatever you hear me say, and to particularly within military circle, we know ourselves. If I tell you I'm relocating to Zambia, I know what I'm talking about. If I relocate, I'm not just relocating to watch what I see. I have my plans. If you have your troops that are not responding to orders, I know my own. After all, an officer or officers who know what they are doing, you first of all come up with an in-depth written appreciation of your situation, an in-depth mental situation of where you are, an in-depth collaboration with international bodies, an in-depth technical support. The technical structure supporting the military today is a capital shame. I'm saying this. Nigeria, not even that alone. One of the causes of insurgency today, or promoting insurgency in Nigeria today, is the absence of technological, economic support to launch our brilliant young ones. If there is nothing for them to fall back to, they fall back onto anything so long they can have money. Today, most of the kidnappings are done for people to earn meat. And today what I ask is, of all those arrested, where is the central data of the interrogation findings so that Nigerians can see and know that people were arrested in the act, people were interviewed for all these 21 years, 8 months, and then Nigerians can take lessons therefrom and now make an adjustment. Right. We, out of commitment and concern, we took the risk you can never believe. We went to wrong places. We went to our neighboring countries to see. You need to see Nigeria from Niger. You need to see Nigeria from Chad. You need to see Nigeria from Cameroon, from the point of view of what insurgency is doing to Nigeria. You need to go to Benin and look at Nigeria from that point of view. You also need to sit down and look at the witnesses. One word, look at the weaknesses or the mistakes we are making. The question is money is the military being funded? Is it only a military issue? How many numerous approaches are you supposed to have created to grow concurrently in containing this? So it is larger than what you can think. Simply because, I said 6 months, and I'm talking about the commitment because of the in-depth homework I do, and that's the confidence I have.
We're totally out of time, but this is something, a commitment I would like from you. I'd like to invite you back on the program. But when I do, I'll give you a lot of time for us to have conversation, but you will promise that it will be no holds barred. You will give us as much information as we need.
Hear my words. What you said is accepted. I don't like even simple questions. Look for the biggest, the hardest question you can ever think of. Ask me. Whatever I know, you will know.
All right.
Whatever I do not know, I don't know. See, my name is Hamza Al-Mustapha. I have nothing to hide.
All right.
I went through what you cannot imagine But the fact that I went through it and the fact that propaganda was run on me by some selected people, it does not mean that has changed who I am.
Right.
I was who I was, I am who I am, and I will never change.
All right. We need to wrap up these parts,
Right.
but I must sincerely thank you.
Thank you.
Retired Major Hamza Al-Mustapha, thank you so much for coming tonight.
Appreciate it. Thank you.